Agents and investors nationwide. Today is Thursday, August 10th, 2023, and this is All the Leads Mastermind podcast number 441. Bruce, I got nothing to start with. It's all yours.
All right. Well, all I have is you must be missing your handy dandy Shure microphone. Shure.com. You guys can go sign. I'm just kidding. I'm not advertising for Shure. It was a little muffled, Jim, but I think we got you. Guys, I am happy to see everybody here. Hopefully we have an exciting call for you longtime attendees and new first timers. If you are a first timer, this is an interactive mastermind call. We want to hear your questions, your success stories. Some of you that have been doing this for a little while, let's get those hands up and share some success stories. We've got some new folks here today that want to know that this works. And I mean, it's really easy for me to tell you that it works. By the way, I am a peer with everyone. I've worked in the probate niche for 9 years now, real estate for 20. And I know that this works. It's just a matter of you guys working. This is one of those businesses that is not too complex. You're going to hear us talk a whole lot about how uncomplex it is. It's really quite simple, but it does take some effort. So you don't have to be an expert or anything like that to get some success. You just have to make the effort, take the time, make the calls, send the letters. Make sure that people can find you online, and that's pretty much it. So if you are new here and you want to ask questions, you can either do so in your using the chat. Now, I'm going to ask if you're on Zoom that you do raise your hand. So if you want to raise your hand and interact and share a success story or ask a question, go down to the bottom of your Zoom screen and click the little reactions button. And then pop your hand up, just like Mr. Steve Carney did. We're going to call on Steve in a second. You better not take your hand down. And he took his hand down. All right. Now it's back up. If you're on Facebook or YouTube live, you can chat your question underneath of the live stream, and we will those will pop over to us coaches on the call, and we'll be able to read your question and answer it live while we're on the call today. We do this every single Thursday. Every Thursday. If you are listening to this after the fact, YouTube or maybe podcast or something like that, and you want to join live next time, you can always join by going to alltheleads.com/live. So alltheleads.com/live. That'll bring you right into our Zoom room here where we can interact with you guys. At any rate, it's very good to see everyone, and I'll call on Steve here in a second, but I want to kind of get the conversation started by talking about a couple of the mistakes that I see people make. You know, I've been having coaching interactions for quite a while, and I've had a couple of interactions this week with folks that are making one of two mistakes, and these mistakes are on complete opposite ends of the spectrum. So mistake number one is making the mistake that you can do this entire business by yourself without building a team. Technically you can, but if you're not thinking bigger, if you think that you're going to be the person out there that's cutting someone's grass and changing the locks and helping them clean their property out and all those things, you're not going to build a scalable business. So there's a lot of people that are thinking really small in this business, and they're not really looking to or thinking about scaling. And I want you guys building your team out with scale in mind. Okay. And that team includes various different contractors. It includes people on your real estate team. There's a lot of different team members that you can mix in to your business to really help. Number two mistake that I see people make is trying to get rid of all of their responsibilities. All of their responsibilities. So we want you guys being able to get rid of some responsibilities by building your team. But when you're starting, it's good for you to know how to have the conversations. A lot of people rush out and they hire like an ISA or a VA and they say, look, I just want to show up on appointments. That's all I want. And you're gonna have to have conversations with people going through this process, even if you're hiring someone to help with calls, even if you're hiring someone to help with mail, you're gonna want to have some involvement in tweaking those letters. If you're hiring all the leads to help with mail, have some involvement in tweaking those mailers a little bit. Have involvement in knowing how conversations go if somebody's helping you with your calls. Have some involvement by maybe shooting a video or two. So I'm encouraging you guys to get involved here and don't try to only offload the stuff that you're uncomfortable with. Take a little bit on, learn the game. Okay, so number one, don't try to do everything yourself. And number two, don't try to do nothing yourself. All right, and you get active in this business and you will scale. All right, so I am happy to open the floor to any questions that we might have. Mr. Steve, his hand went down, and he's going to make me call on him in a second. But let's take a look. I'm just going to go to the chats and see if anyone has any questions for today while we're waiting on some hands. So for pre-probate leads, do you know the typical turnaround time for the lead? We talk a lot about how probate may take an average of 4 to 6 months to for a probate lead prospect to get ready to sell a house. Okay, and so we're talking about averages here, not necessarily what everybody's going to do. On pre-probate, you need to recognize that you're potentially a month or 2 months ahead of the game. So you're a month or 2 months ahead of probate leads. So they haven't gone to the courthouse. They haven't opened probate. So if it's going to take 4 to 6 months for the average person that files probate to sell a house once they become a lead, then it might take an average of 6 to 8 months if you're getting pre-probate leads. Now, nobody rush out and kind of panic and say, I can't do pre-probate leads. I can't do probate. I can't wait 6 months. You don't have to wait 6 months. That's just the average person. There are plenty of people that are in urgent, desperate need of cash, and they've been waiting on grandpa to pass away to sell the house. And I hate to say it like that. I really don't like saying it that way, but it's a fact. There are some people that just can't wait for that inheritance, that windfall that they're going to get, and they rush out and put real estate on the market right away. There are also those people that get really emotionally attached to the loss. And even though they have to sell, they hold on to the real estate for 18 months, 2 years. So you've got people on these either end of the spectrum, but most folks in probate are going to take 4 to 6 months, and most in pre-probate, the average are going to probably take 6, 7 months. And that's how long you need to be prepared to work those leads, to start have those conversations. You're going to talk to people in the early days and they're going to say, yes, we're probably going to sell, but we're not ready yet. Give us a few months. And that's great. You add them to your whiteboard, you add them to your follow-up list, you start delivering value. And by the time they get into that sweet spot, you're going to be the expert that they call. Right. So that's something I want everyone to keep in mind and know about. So what you want to do while you're kind of building up that pipeline and having those conversations is do continue mailing them, do continue pointing them back to your website or your videos, things like that. Do continue to call them and check in with them. Hey, and the call goes like this. Hey, last time we talked, you mentioned that you guys had everything handled. You really weren't looking for a lot of extra help. I just wanted to see if that was still the case. Is there anything that I could do for you? And just keep checking in, always offering value. There's going to come a point where you capitalize on that business, especially if you begin to perfect your closing techniques. You don't want to be a pushy closer, but there's a way to be an influential closer, and you can start. It's going to give you time to perfect some of those things. All right. So with that said, any coaches, anything that you'd like to chime in on? Tim.
Yes, sir. So I'm going to take something off of the chats that came in. And one of the things that Evie said was she gets too involved in the hauling and clean out and needs to stay away. And it's a great point. And, thank you for admitting that it happens to everybody. One of the most common challenges that makes probate pretty much across the board unique is that it is filled, every house is generally filled with the properties and mementos and keepsakes of the people who lived there. And sometimes there's an emotional challenge in getting that out. Sometimes it's, that was Aunt Sarah's favorite thing, and what are we going to do with it? And it's like, three-headed moose that's hanging on the wall. And, I'm being facetious, but things that are important to, the people who live there and their memories of who they were, they're difficult for people to deal with. And so that's one reason to not do it yourself at all and, be involved in it. And I don't mean it's your property, but if you can get that to where that's a third party that's dealing with it, the easiest way to deal with it is get somebody else to handle it, an estate sale company or a clean out crew. But more importantly, let the heirs know you get to go through the house, get everybody together, take one weekend, one day, whatever, let them all go through the place and take anything that they want, anything that's important to them. And, it's going to be easier to deal with it that way. Bring your truck, bring your station wagon, whatever, put it in. And then after that, we'll take care of getting everything else out of it and deal with everything the way it should be dealt with. And that way they don't have to feel bad about, taking Aunt Sarah's three-headed moose and putting it on the junk pile or whatever. They'll take the right stuff to donate it to people who can use it. They'll take the other stuff to places that can recycle it appropriately and all that. And you need to assure your customers of that. And it's one of the best services you can provide because it is the biggest, in most cases, stumbling block to getting that property on the market. And, Evie, kudos to you for admitting that you're doing that, but get somebody else to deal with it. Don't do it yourself either. Get a professional company come in and do it. If there's any value there, there may be some money in it that, everybody can profit from. So you need to kind of have an appraisal's eye, walk through it. And if you see a lot of stuff there, once the family's gone through it, there's going to be value for the people that clean it out.
Yep. Excellent. I am going to add to that and basically say that a lot of times we cannibalize our own business. All right. I was talking to someone a week or two ago, and we were talking about how probate cannibalized that individual's sphere of influence business. This was a realtor that I was talking about, and when she got involved in probate, she spent so much time handling every minute aspect of the probate process for her clients and her business that she forgot to call and interact with their sphere of influence. On the flip side, a lot of people do the same thing with their other lead sources and forget to interact and prospect their probate business. So you've got to sit down and really look at this as a business and appropriately allocate the tasks that you're going to handle and when you're going to handle them. And also look at what you should get off of your plate individually. I do have a couple of questions that have come in. I'm going to go to Winston's first. Winston asked if I could expand and clarify a little bit more about how VAs or ISAs potentially work in the business. So many people rush out and they try to hire a $3 Filipino ISA to step in and take care of all their high-level prospecting needs. It's certainly something that can help your business. But so many people are like, oh, this person I'm paying $3 an hour to, they're gonna easily replace me with my same level of skill. And I hope that's not the case. So what you want to do is make sure that if you're hiring offshore, you're hiring someone to help with your prospecting needs, that you are using them to be a bird dog for your business, that they are spotlighting your better opportunities. They're spotlighting which phone numbers are disconnected. So which phone number came over from all the leads that might have belonged to grandpa who's passed away and now the family's disconnected it. So you don't have to call that person anymore. Who doesn't answer the phone? Who does answer the phone? And then you take that more refined list and you focus your efforts, personal efforts in on that, because prospecting and building your personal marketing plan are two of the most important things that you can do on your business. So I want you guys staying involved in building out that marketing campaign and making sure that it continues to run and you make those tweaks and adjustments. And I want you to stay involved in having conversations with prospects. If you're going to use VAs and ISAs, you should use them as a bird dog, or go spend some bucks, go spend some money and hire someone that legitimately has a chance to be better than you are on the phone, that legitimately has a chance. So you're talking Americans, you're talking expats, potentially, you're talking highly experienced offshore people, those that have been in this for 10 or 15 years and they've worked up the experience that maybe you don't have. Otherwise, if you're going the affordable route, hire a bird dog and you handle the higher level conversations. Really important for you guys. Chris Walters is asked, can you offer a probate attorney a referral fee? Good question. That question pops up periodically. And Chris rightly said, look, I know they have to be licensed. So he's correct. A probate attorney, anyone that's receiving a referral fee based on closed business has to be licensed agent in order to receive that money. And it's really their broker that's receiving the money. So those of you that are investors or maybe new realtors, you can't pay even an agent directly. You have to pay a firm. So the attorney would have to be licensed. Now, you can pay people marketing fees and they don't have to be licensed. You can pay for leads and they don't have to be licensed. But if you're paying on closed business and it's a percentage, they absolutely have to be licensed and you have to pay a firm. So Chris, I think you're looking for what kind of offer can you make? What kind of unique selling proposition can you have? And the way that I might do it if I were you is I might say, hey, I actually pay referral fees to many times I actually pay referral fees to attorneys that bring business my way. Would you be interested in hearing more about how I do that? And then that deeper conversation is where you talk about the need to be licensed. It's interesting. My attorney, and this is my real estate attorney, is actually hanging a license with my brokerage firm for this exact same reason. And it's happening now. So there's times when some of you may want to help your attorney get licensed if they're not already licensed, and it's a way for them to earn extra income. Okay, so Ron, go ahead.
I believe California is the exception to that. I could be wrong, but I think California attorneys can receive commissions, I believe, without having a real estate license. At least that's what we've heard. As in anything we tell you, double check the laws in your state and double check with your broker.
Interesting. I'd like to hear clarify that, get some verification of that from some of our experienced California agents. I wasn't aware of that. That's pretty cool if you can. So Ron has asked, Ron stated that we have a monthly newsletter that goes out to our clients and our past clients. Should we add the personal representatives to those newsletters with market updates and holiday marketing? It's going to heavily depend on how big your list is. Heavily depend on how big your list is. I'm a big believer in touch points. So when you're marketing to people and you're sending a single letter out and you're expecting 10% of the people that open that letter to call you, that's a poor representation of what's actually going to happen. So if you're going to go into the mail space, it needs to be consistent. You need to consistently be marketing to and mailing people. Now, when it comes to slightly more personalized touches like this, Ron, I'm generally going to be looking to add those that I had a conversation with to the mailing list. So if I'm cold marketing them, it's probably not going to be with a monthly newsletter. If we've never had any engagement, it's going to be probate specific mail. Okay. Now, once I've had some engagement with someone, my cold mailing campaign kind of goes to the side, and my hot relationship mailing campaign starts to pick up. So that's where I'm going to send maybe a monthly newsletter. I'm going to do an occasional handwritten note. I'm going to get really specific on that mail marketing that I do. I don't think personally that I would be cold mailing someone my newsletter. But you get them on the phone, you talk to them, even if they say, hey, we don't know, we don't need anything right now, don't know what we're going to do, by all means, put them into your mailing list, mail them, keep them on there for a little while, because you're going to build a relationship. But I'm going to do that after the relationship has been started.
Hey, Bruce, Perry Rogers has a win after Tim, go ahead, but Perry Rogers has a win. If we can get him to come on live, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Perry, are
Perry,
you able to come on live?
Raise your hand, please. Go ahead, Tim, I interrupted you.
The point being there is that if you're marketing, it also depends, you're absolutely correct about what you said, Bruce, but if your marketing is a generalized marketing, just remember that PR, whether it has to do with the house they're dealing with right now or their personal needs or anything else, if you've established that conversation with them and you're in that with them, they're part of your sphere of influence. And certainly if they're local, you should want to be involved in that. I would potentially, be careful about, just be smart about your budget. And, if you're dealing with an absentee person that's, you're in Florida, they're in New York, they're probably not going to be too concerned with working with you up there. So they may not be doing it. You need to focus specifically on that's a transaction piece, not a brand builder. But as long as you've got somebody that's local there, build your brand. You've got the opportunity to talk to them and grow it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Agreed. All right, Perry. Perry's hand is up. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Perry.
Hey guys, how's it
Hey.
going?
It's going great. How are you?
Doing good. But yeah, I got my first clear win today, so I'm excited about that.
Yes, tell us about it.
Yeah, so I sent out letters, which I was telling you about, Bruce, too. Most of my data was really bad. This was when I used a different company.
Mm-hmm.
But I used the same letters because I was in probate mastery. So I used that letter and most of my data was wrong, but I guess I had one that was correct, and they called and they were like, we really appreciated it. We're out of state and we're definitely going to be looking to list, and we appreciate that yours is more of a full service type of thing. So they said they're going to be in town next week and want to grab lunch with me. So exciting stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
And
It
Perry, you said
does
you have a
work in-
buyer. Perry said she has a buyer for the property already also, correct?
Yeah, I think so. So I'm in Nashville. It's an awesome downtown condo. And I have a friend who's been really actively looking for something like this. So we might be able to just knock it out off market, which would be awesome too. So yeah.
It can be that easy sometimes. It can be that easy.
Right? All the stars align.
Yep. And it happens. Stars don't align if folks don't put some effort into it. A little bit of effort, your stars aren't going to align. So if you're listening to a story like that and you're going, why hasn't that happened to me? Ask yourself, and I'm not saying that you haven't done anything, and I'm not talking to you, Perry, everybody else. I'm not saying that you guys haven't done anything if the stars haven't aligned, but ask yourself, have I put in the effort? Have I done the mailers? Have I made the calls? Am I putting in the effort to allow the stars to align and conversations like this to happen? Because they absolutely happen. And then other times you have to put a little bit more effort into a relationship. And other times you mail them for 7 months and you call them 14 times and they ignore you. And one day, 2 months later, they call you back. So you never know where that person is in their maturation process and when they're going to actually engage with you.
Definitely. Yeah. I have another lead who I got him on the phone yesterday. He wants to sell, but I think that he has a public administrator. I don't know. It sounds a little complicated. So I bought some crumble cookies because who doesn't love crumble cookies. And I tried to show up at the attorney's office this morning, but she wasn't there. So I'm trying again this afternoon. So
Okay.
some promising stuff though.
Good. I love it. Good stuff. Thanks for all the effort. Thanks for chiming in. I want to hear more success stories from some other you, Perry, too, but from some other folks, guys. Just get out there and make the effort and start having dialogue with people. That's what it's all about. Just have a conversation. You don't know where it's going to go until you open your mouth and talk to someone. All right, let's go to Evie, longtime friend of all the leads. Evie, it's good to see you. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I just wanted to say that I had been working with attorneys for the probates, and I really haven't been following up on my mailings, but I was prior to this. And then last week, I got a call from out-of-state client that said that him and his brother have a place that they want me to sell, and if you can go take care of it. We got all of our stuff out of there, and I received one of your letters. So it was the letters so if I worked harder and was on top of it, I would be doing a lot more. But it works. Awesome. I was happy.
Yes, I love it. So they'd already, in your letters, I'm assuming, had talked about being able to help with clean out and things that they continued to hold on to, right? They didn't ask you for any of the extra help. You just got to step in and help sell the house.
Well, yeah, he said that him and his brother went out there and got everything that they wanted.
Mhm.
And then now they want to get rid of the rest of the stuff. So if I can go to the neighbor, get the key and just take care of it, because they're out of state and their brother is busy. So they're not angry with each other, but they want someone else to help them get it done with the rest of it.
Okay, perfect. Now, Perry, Evie, stay tight right here. I'm gonna ask you a question. Perry, I want you to unmute yourself as well. Just the gist of what you guys have sent out that got the response. Evie, the gist of the letter that you sent out that did get the response, what was the basic messaging?
Just that full service. I offer the estate sales, clean out, hauling, minor repairs, and then and also refers to attorneys. I work closely with probate attorneys, trust attorneys. And that's it.
Okay, excellent. And where in that letter, throughout the body or in the PS, where do you mention real estate?
At the end, at the end of it. Yeah, at the end.
Perfect. Perry, how about you? What type of letter did you send out? What was the basic message?
Yeah, I think in particular, it was the six things letter of like the 6 most common things that we're able to help with. So similar to what Evie did, we can get you an attorney, we can get an estate sale contact, we can do this, that, and the other. And then, obviously we could do a cash sale or we could list it for top dollar. So I think it was kind of insinuated in there that I'm a realtor, and then I have to have my disclosure at the bottom too. So,
Awesome. Good. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you both.
Thank you.
So I want to kind of talk to a lot of you about what I like to put, how I like to structure certain letters, especially if I'm talking about kind of a do it for you sort of service. If I'm talking about being able to change the locks and handle an estate sale and a clean out and things like that. More than just selling a house. If I'm doing that, a lot of times I'll hold my real estate message back for the very end of the letter, and I'll talk about all those other services, and I'll sign off and I'll say, hey, if you need anything at all like this, please reach out. Sincerely, Bruce Hill. And I'll put my website in there, and then in a different color font underneath of my signature, I say PS. If the family has real estate that they need to sell, here's how I help. And I'll list off 2 or 3 or 4 ways that I can help with real estate. But I make that body of my letter about a complimentary type of service that I'm offering. And Stephen has asked a question that coincides with this. I'll get to that question in a moment. But I'll make the body of my letter about this complimentary or free service that I'm offering, and then I tell them how what my direct business is, the real estate, in a PS. Now, I want everyone to be able to go to all the leads and use the templates that are available on all the leads. And we kind of want to make it easy for you all. I'm going to ask many of you to actually sit down and think about those letters. Don't just go pick 6 letters or the 3 letters that your MIS says, here, start with these 3 or start with these 4. Don't just pick them and do nothing. I want you guys to think about the structure of those letters. So if you want a PS in there, think about it. Think about the customizations that you want to offer. Make some minor tweaks and adjustments. Don't turn your brain off and go, here, send these out and not really have any idea. A lot of people don't even have any idea what their letters are saying because they don't want to think about their marketing. And I'm asking you guys, please think about your marketing. You can choose all the automation in the world, and all the leads makes it so easy for you to choose automation. But I want you guys putting a little bit of thinking power behind that marketing piece. And if it takes you an extra 10 minutes to evaluate your mailer and make a couple of adjustments and edits, it's 10 minutes well spent. So now, before I go to Steve Carney, don't take your hand down. I'm going to go to Steve Brown. Steve has asked, as far as the stuff goes, so the removal of junk and personal items and things like that, should you offer to pay for it, or should you just refer them to a removal company? Same question goes for the estate sale, Steve has said. So how should you handle that? Well, that's a great question because it really depends on your business and your unique selling proposition. Some people make it part of their unique selling proposition that I'll pay for this stuff. I will pay for the estate sale setup. I'll pay for the removal. I'll pay for a locksmith. I'll pay for that if you sell me the house. Okay. Some people don't. What I normally do is I'll say, look, my coordination is free. No charge for my coordination. I will find you the best, most affordable, and highest quality company to handle this for you. And you don't owe me anything for it. Now, the estate is going to end up needing to pay the clean out crew, or the estate's going to pay the locksmith or the estate sale company. So I offer my time for free. Now, because I mentioned this in the beginning of the call, I want everyone to remember, whose time am I offering for free? Not mine. I'm offering a team member's time for free. I'm offering my concierge's time for free. I think that I'm worth $150, $200 an hour. So it's not my time that goes into coordinating those things. It's someone that is on my team that is coordinating those things. Okay. So I want everyone to kind of think of that. If you're offering something for free, think about offloading some of that to someone who you could potentially pay less than you would pay yourself. And now let's go to Steve Carney. Steve, good to see you, man.
Hey, Bruce, how are you?
Really good.
When I raised my hand, I did it because you asked me to. You said, hey, use the reactions button.
I know.
And I did have
I'm just
something to
picking
say.
on. I'm just messing with you.
No, that's fine. As a longtime guy, you can pick on me, much like I can pick on Winston every time he rolls in from California. He tells us good morning. So good afternoon to Winston out in California. For all of us East Coast guys and gals. So your point about marketing is really key, Bruce. As you know, I've been a longtime guy. I've dabbled, I've been interested. Well, now I'm fully committed. So I am looking at marketing. And I'll tell you, the website that All the Lead provides is wonderful. But I'm not getting the leads from it. And that's not on All the Leads. That's on Carney. Carney's got to make adjustments, or I got to clarify my message. Same thing with a letter. It's not there. And again, you guys provide a great framework to be able to do it, send it out. It's all taken care of. I would rather get that website straightened up where I clarify my message, start an email drip campaign, because I'm going to provide the checklist that you guys have. That's the hook, if you will, the call to action. You give me your email address, I'll send it to you. In fact, now that I'm making phone calls, if people want to put me off, so look, I have a checklist, I'll provide it to you free. All I need is your email. I'm not asking you for anything, but this will help you at least get you structured as you go through this process, which is very difficult. And as you know, most people who come to it, they're challenged. They're just
Yeah.
overwhelmed for a host of reasons. I'm currently the executor of my father's estate, even having gone through the training. When you go through it, the emotional draw is tough. It's just hard. So you need a guide, and that's what it is. You want to make them the hero, and assist them. And that email drip over a couple of weeks, all of a sudden they start calling you. Hey, I need assistance. Where you established a trust and rapport that you often talk about.
Yep.
I think that until that starts working and I start generating revenue, I'm hesitant to hire a VA only because, number one, if you hire them, you got to train them, you got to integrate them. And if you don't have the chops to do that, they're going to get paid regardless of whether they're bringing you leads or not.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to keep that in mind. And I think too many people who start out think, well, I'll get a VA. This will make it easier for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe not. Just understand, if you're like most businesses standing up, you don't have a whole lot of cash. You're trying to generate cash. That person still has to be paid. Okay. And it's on you as to whether or not they're trained and have got the right message. And they are going to, in fact, provide you with the leads that you said, spotlight where I need to go. So now you can use the values that you've learned to be able to deal with people, to assist them and solve their problem. Because that's what it's really all about. It's not about you. It's about them. It's about making them the hero. You're simply the guide, because most heroes need guides in any story you see to be able to bring them to hopefully a solution where they can feel good and members of their family are happy with them. Because that can be the challenge in this process, as you well know.
Steve, I got a quick question for you about the website from a perception standpoint. This is your perception. Are you thinking that it's going to organically bring you traffic, and I heard you say this, I want to make sure that we're clear on this. You're going to drive the traffic to it, correct? That's your point.
Correct. Yeah. And look, the website is wonderful.
Yeah.
There's just things that I need to adjust. There's got to be a little bit more of a call to action, more of a sense of urgency in a way that, hey, I'm trying to solve your problem. But I've had the website for 6 months. And when I only have had 2 returns, 2 inquiries, something's not right. And that's not on you guys. It's on me.
I appreciate that. And I want to correct, this is more philosophical than anything else. I know that's right, even the right way to put this. But part of the problem is that people, I appreciate your comments, and we are very proud of the content of the website, and we do a lot to put good content in it. But the website in the beginning, when you get started with it, is only going to get traffic that you drive to it. And it's because organically, you are a real estate website in a vast sea of real estate websites. Correct. You have uniqueness in that it's a probate focused website. So you're going to get some additional stuff. If people are looking for probate in your specific geographic market, and that's what they type in, like probates in Essex County, they're going to find you, maybe. But the issue is that most of the traffic, if not all in the very beginning, that's going to come there, you're going to drive it through your mail, you're going to drive it through direct mail, you're going to drive it through your business cards, your email address, your website address, your URL needs to be everywhere you can put it. We always talk about, painting it on the back of a turtle and let it running around and write it on every bathroom wall you go in. And the reality is you really need to get that out there and need to do exactly what you said, Steve, which is make sure that it's a clean, well-lighted place that puts your best foot forward. And we've done a lot to give you the content to do that, but you've got the right idea. It needs to show who Steve is, not to who our idea is of what should a ideal person who's dealing with being in probate and a probate specialist is. It ought to be who you are and what you specifically provide. So you're right. That's what you need to go do. But I want to make sure that people don't get a website, set it up and expect, well, I've got a website now, the traffic's going to come pouring in. That ain't going to happen. It doesn't work that way. And, we've been doing this a long, long time. It takes a very long time to build up organic traffic. We just mounted a big program in social media to get it done and help you get that done and build some degree of organic traffic. So you can start driving traffic from social media and your search engine optimization and all that. So we're working hard to do that for you, but you definitely need to make sure that your site has its act together when you get there. So kudos to you for taking that on to go do. And I want to see how that goes for you. I'll take a particular interest in taking a look at your site. Once it's done, drop me a note, let me know. I want to take a look at it. Okay.
All right,
And
Tim, like I
Tim-
said, in the beginning, I figure you and Jim probably would hope that he wouldn't log in every week to see what we're doing, because I tend to be that bad penny who keeps coming back.
You're not
Tim, if
bad.
I could, I wanted to add some. Go ahead, Tim, when you're done, add some.
I appreciate you being candid, and anybody who's willing to admit that they got work to do, that's what we're here for. This is a working group, and the more that you talk about it and the more, encouragement you give other people encouragement, because we better than a big chunk, way more than half of our subscribers all have websites, and that's a growing number of people. And as a matter of fact, we're getting ready in just a couple of minutes here. We're going to talk about a little promotion that that's one of the features of the promotion for this month. And we want to encourage more of you to do it, because it does it when you're not available. That's really the point, is that it's the one place you can say anything you want. You can put everything out there that you do, your unique selling proposition, as much depth as you want to put about, a clean out crew, some anecdotal stories about how well that worked for, Aunt Sally, that, she was stuck and it got freed up, and lots of great things you can do there. So great for you doing that. And I definitely want you to, let me know when you think you're ready for inspection, and we'll come take a quick look.
And Steve, I was going to say, Tim's forgotten more about websites than I'll ever know, but just one very obvious thing that I'm sure you realize, I think it's pretty rare anybody's going to call and say, hey, I just love your website, that's why I'm listing with you. It's an ancillary feature. You don't know how many people got 5 letters and they went to your website and they called you instead of the other 4 letters because they liked your website. See, it's often hard to track the results because it's a combination of the website and the mail and the phone calls. So,
Right.
And I know you realize that. I just wanted to kind of reiterate that.
Like Bruce said, it's a touch, and it's a touch that you don't have to sit there and do yourself. The thing is, don't make it a set it and forget it. That's what the
Right.
mistake is that people make. They get their website, they put it up, and it's like, okay, well, I did that. I checked that box on my what I should have done, and then I go back and look at it, and 3 years later, it still says the same thing. Having said that, I can tell you that the shoemaker's children, we have the same problem sometimes. We get very involved in all the intricacies of our business, and many employees and many people who are serving y'all's needs, and we oftentimes neglect things that we should be taking care of on our website. We realized last week that our testimonials page was no longer doing the interactive thing it was supposed to go do, and we had testimonials on there. I think our most current one was from 2020, and I'm like, what the heck, guys? We're this big time company, and marketing is supposed to be our forte, and we didn't do a very good job with that. So we took that down until we can get it fixed and change the link and pull in more current testimonials for all the wonderful things that we think we do and that we do get praised for. So thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate it.
You're quite welcome. And I will say that the support I've received from ATL has always been stellar. Jessica's my MIS. I'm working with Toby right now to get things redone, and they're more than willing. They're like, look, we want you to be successful. And I think that's the key that needs to go out to the community, whether you have a website or not, or even someone who's relatively new listening, is these guys at ATL, it's not their marketing. They're not just trying to sell you something, and they're not there for you. Coaching's available. You come here, you can ask questions. You can always reach out to support, and you're going to get solid answers. They're going to help you in a very positive way. So please take that to heart. If you're on the fence, be all in. That's all I can say. The sooner the better.
Oh.
I like what you just said, be all in. By the way, Steve, you've been listening to Story Brand with your hero and guide, right? I think there's probably more than one person. But everything
I'm in a
you
flight
said
plan
about
program, Bruce.
what's that?
I'm in a flight plan program to build a business. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually, Donald Miller rings in my ears in the gym and all over the place. Yeah. I'm definitely in. It's the way to go. If you haven't read his book, Story Brand by Donald Miller, please do. It will help you help clarify your message.
Hey,
Excellent
Bruce,
book.
before you jump on to the next person, I think it's probably, I'll be at least somewhat smart, and I think it's a good time to talk real quickly about what we are doing for promotion this time. We've got a thing to drop on the screen. So Alyssa, if you'll be good enough to throw that up, we'll talk real quickly about what are the wonderful things we're doing to rope people into getting stuff this month. Okay. So what we're trying to do is, I don't know if where you live, it's the same thing. Today, kids started back to school here, and I was shocked. I'm like, what? School started already? And, it's already happening here in Florida. They're back in school. I don't know what it is in your marketplace, but typically that's a jumping off place where things start to pick up. They pick up for the fall. People start focusing on their business, vacation time's over, all that sort of stuff. So we're trying to put some stuff together to literally do exactly kind of what we're talking here about today, is to help you get things rocking and rolling. To start off with, for new subscribers that you're just getting started with us, we're going to try to get you started. If you're on the call and you haven't subscribed to our leads yet, please do that. We're going to take 15% off your first 2 months to get you started. And if you just set it up and get them going on autopilot with your mailings, you get that done before the end of August, we'll give you an additional 10% off the second month's leads. So that's 25% off your month 2 leads. That's a bigger discount than we generally ever offer anytime, any place, anywhere, even for somebody who's got, 10 counties. So really, we're trying to help you get started. We want you to get started with a bang. You got to get it purchased before the end of August, and that's available to new subscribers as well as any of our current subscribers who want to add a new county. So get that done, and we'll talk with you if you just are a current subscriber and you want to get yourself on autopilot as opposed to buying them just when you get around to it. That's the smart thing to do, is put it on autopilot. That way it goes out, you make sure it's going. We offer you a special discount on that as well. So that's a very good program to go. Alyssa also put an orange button up there about 15% on your mail with a free touch autopilot campaign. We're doing everything we can to get you guys moving and help you put things out there that are going to build your business. So that's one of them. Second thing is, if you don't have a website, we're going to offer you 50% off the website setup fee. So we're waiving 25% of that. That's all the effort that goes into customizing it for you, making it look the way that you want to look, make it have your picture on it, helping you get the pages the way they want to be, all that sort of stuff. So we're going to do that for you as well. And then the marketing material, you want to work on a special flyer, you want to work on a 3-page, a trifold, you want to do a door hanger, you want to get new business cards, anything like that. We call those customizations. We have templates that we provide for that, but we work with you to customize them, again, to make it look the way you want to look and all of that. So if you buy one of those, we'll take 20% off the printing. If you do 2 of them at the same time, 25% off the printing. So we're anxious to try to help you. This is all about marketing. This month is marketing. We're here to help you. We want to get you rolling, and all you need to do is contact your sales rep, contact your MIS, your marketing implementation specialist, contact support, contact anybody. We'll be happy to work with you. And we really, really, really want to help you get this done. We'll also be putting this out in mail, but don't procrastinate. This is the time to step up and get this done. Don't let it sit there, and don't be thinking the end of the month, well, I'll get around to doing that. You won't. So there it is. Take a quick look, capture your screen if you want and save it. But more importantly, take some action and do it quickly. We're ready to help you. Back to you.
Right. Okay. Well, I want to go back to Steve for a moment. Steve, I don't think I need you. If you want to chime in, pop your hand back up. But I want to talk about a couple of the things that Steve brought up that were just really good. So he talked about being responsible for driving his own traffic. What I want you to think about is you have systems like All the Leads provides that is providing you an amazing framework. It's just like buying a house, and that house is under frame. You've got a great foundation, you have a really good frame, everything's in. It's time for you to go put a little bit of plumbing in. It's time for you to put a little bit of electrical. I want you guys paying attention to your business and not just set it and forget it, because set it and forget it's the way that we lose clients. All right. It's the way that people call in 3 months and go, hey, I haven't done anything, I'm going to leave. So I'm begging everyone, please don't be a set it and forget it type of person. And if you are going to set it and forget it, and I'm going to show you what that can look like in a second. If you are going to set it and forget it, make sure that you've at least added the finishes before you set it and forget it. And the way that looks is how it looked for me for a long time. I ran about 5 hours a week that I would put into my probate business. So 5 hours a week, and that would include my follow-up calls, my prospecting. It would include my appointments. It would include taking deals that were already under contract to closing. And it took about 5 hours a week. And it's because I added some finishes and I tweaked my letters and I tweaked my website and I made sure that I was constantly adjusting and dabbling with things, and so that I could set it and forget it. But when you guys start up and you say, hey, I don't want to put any time into this, that's the fastest way to fail. So put a little bit of effort into it, add some of those finishes to your campaign, you're going to be good. Now, Steve had mentioned adding a hook and that probate checklist to the to his website, and it's really good. And I'm going to do something, Steve, and I'm going to ask Steve to unmute himself. I'm going to show a point here, prove a point here, and this is everyone who's seen Wolf of Wall Street is going to absolutely recognize this. This question. It's probably one of the most famous questions, or one of the most famous things that the Wolf of Wall Street asked in the movie. But Steve, how are you going to sell me this pen? Sell me this pen. What do you do? And I'm putting you on the spot. I don't know if you're going to, how you'll do with this, but what are you going to do if I handed you this pen and I asked you to sell it to me?
I would say this pen is going to solve problems that you have. You have thoughts or anything that you need to put down on paper. You can't do it without a pen. Your head is not a filing cabinet. And the best way to do it is to write it down. And this pen is the instrument that's going to solve your problem.
Awesome. I love it. By the way, that's an amazing answer. That's an amazing answer. Okay. I'm going to put my spin on it. And my spin is this. Hey, I'd love to cut you, or I'd love to give you $1 million. Would you be interested?
Yes.
So, yeah, you would. Okay. All I need is for you to sign this short agreement that says I can wire you $1 million and you'll spend it wisely. Can I do that? And then you go, oh, I don't have a pen. Oh, perfect. I have one. Would you like to buy it? Okay. So the reason people aren't buying stuff from you, aren't buying your service, is because you haven't created any value. And so Steve mentioned a little bit ago getting an email address from people. So on his website, an email address in exchange for the checklist, and in your phone calls, an email address in exchange for the checklist. So you're bringing that checklist into the forefront. And what I want to challenge everyone on this call to do is not ask for the payment at the exact same time, or worse, before you've offered the value. Get them to buy into the value that you're offering first. Get them to buy into, yes, I would like $1 million, or yes, I would like a checklist. And then after that, tell them what the payment is. And the payment in this case is an email address. So it's, hey, I know you're not ready right now. So they've just told you, I'm not ready to talk about the real estate yet. I completely get it. Just in case things change in the future, maybe I can shoot you some information. Why don't I actually send you a checklist so that you know kind of how to navigate the probate process? Would you be interested in that? Yes, you get a yes. And then you ask for the payment. Perfect. All I need is the best email address for you. Now you're going to get it. I teach people that, and they'll collect 5 times more emails than they were collecting beforehand. As opposed to, hey, is it okay if I get your email address and send you some information? No, they're not going to agree to that. So present the value first, ask if they want the value, and then tell them how much it costs. An email address. It's a great way to stay in touch with people. All right. So, Steve, I appreciate you, man. I thought that what you're doing was spot on. I wanted to use you as an example to show some other folks how to do this. So good stuff.
Thanks, Bruce.
Let's go to George Wallace. We got 3 minutes, guys. So we're gonna get George's question, and if I have time, I'll answer another question in chat.
Okay, thanks, Bruce, for calling. It's good to be back. I've been away for a while. I just wanted to share a very quick win that I had, not having to do with probate, but I wanted to share it because it's a win that came straight from the thinking of Bruce Hill.
Which means I stole it from someone else.
I did a Vulcan mind meld and so anyway, I had a condo on the market. I put it on for the as a coming soon. So I had 6 days to do some really good marketing. And I got a request for showing on the very first day. The client called me, the agent called me on the first day, told me she had a client that's a very, very good fit. They went to see it. She called me afterwards, said she's going to send me an offer first thing in the morning, which happened. The banker called me effusive in praise of this particular client. And then she sent me the offer, and it was for 3% over asking. And she only gave me till 5 o'clock that afternoon to respond. And she put an acceleration clause on it saying that there would be any confirmed better offer by $1,000. Now, but I only had till 5 o'clock that afternoon. Usually you have 24 hours. Now, generally, and so I called some colleagues and got some thinking, and almost everybody took the sort of contentious approach. Well, she should give you more time. She should give you more time. She should give you more. I have an offer on the table here for 3% over first day, and a very interested client. So, and they had the acceleration clause. And I knew with the acceleration clause, they had a limit of 13% over. Now, so I'm thinking, okay, that's in their head. So what I did is I took the friendly approach. I sent her an email. I said, I recognize your strategy. It is an absolutely beautiful strategy. You put me right up against the wall, and I'm loving this because I love to see people who think, and I love to work with people who think. And that 5 o'clock deadline is right up against the wall, and the acceleration clause is worth nothing. So I said, now I'm going to turn around and I'm going to put you up against the wall. And I said, my client will sign this agreement today at 11% over. And within 20 minutes, I had the deal.
Wow. Amazing. 11% more.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I embraced the negative. I embraced the, and don't take a contentious approach. Approach it like you want everybody to win. So, and that's what I did. I told her she was a genius.
Yeah. Puff the ego up a little bit. Tell her what you're looking for. And so many people are looking for a fight. They're looking for and they're also looking for the easy thing. I was listening to a Jocko Willink podcast recently, and he's got a saying, and it's actually on a shirt. It just says "good," and the idea is you're going through something that's a little uncomfortable. Good. Going through something you've never faced before. Good. Going through something painful. Good. You can't grow without the challenges and without being willing to step outside of it and think about it a bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it, George. Thanks so much for the story, man.
I stole it from you.
That's great. That's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Really fast. Wanda had asked, what's the best way to handle the estate sale? So handling an estate sale is going to be a great referral opportunity. So if somebody needs an estate sale, just mention, hey, it looks like you have a lot of stuff here. Are you thinking about doing an estate sale? Yes. Why don't I connect you with the best estate sale company in the area? Would that be okay for you? Okay with you? Yes. You can coordinate it. You can even meet the estate sale company or have an assistant meet the estate sale company at the house and with the seller. You're playing broker in the middle. You can charge for your broker in the middle services, but you don't have to. I normally don't. And really easy. It's kind of a pass through. And then once you've put the pieces together, then you step out and you're the hero because you were a dot connector. So that's basically the way you want to handle anything like that. And we are now officially a couple of minutes over our time. Let's take it to Jim.
Hang
Jim,
on one
Oh.
second.
one
Before you
second.
go kick us out, Jimmy. Alyssa, just throw the slide back up while Jim is sending us off, and we'll leave it up for just a second, because apparently I may have said something incorrect. And at some point, I think I might have said 50% off, and I didn't mean to say that. I didn't remember saying that, but it's $50 off. And I now know I did $50 off the website setup fee. So just leave it up there, and Jim, you can send us off, and don't shut the call off until everybody's had a chance to take a quick look at this again.
But by the way, you did say that, one of the rare times when you misspoke. I noticed it. So
Can't imagine.
Rare?
it's a good catch. And Bruce, by the way, your good reminds me of unbelievable. How's your day going? Unbelievable. So,
Yep.
and I would say this call was unbelievable, but in a good way. I want to thank each of you for being here today. Obviously, want to particularly thank those that actively participated. I want to challenge you. Take one idea, one thing. It could be one of these marketing methods up on the screen here that inspired you on this call. Go out, take some action, put it into practice, and please come back next Thursday and share the results with the group. Great call, everybody. Thanks for being here. Talk to you same time next week. Take care.
Great. And just leave it up a little bit longer than normal, guys, so people can take a quick look at what's up there. And please take action on this. This is a really great opportunity for you to grow your business.
For those of you who might be jotting it down, just a reminder also, we will be sending an email blast with this information too. And I did post this graphic in chat if you want to just scroll up a little bit and download it. MISs and support team and sales, of course, are waiting to hear from you.
Good job on this, by the way. We've still got quite a few people, obviously, maybe making notes, and that's a good thing. Or potentially they went to sleep. I am going to jump off. I'm done, but certainly monitor the folks, and as long as there's anybody still there, let them keep looking. Talk to y'all later. Have a good one.
All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end today's podcast. If anyone has any questions about any of the deals, feel free to reach out to us anytime. Thank you.